Do I keep my wife?
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new here. Today I am joined by my two buds. You want to introduce yourselves?
Hello everyone, my name is André Hedlund. I'm from Brazil and I'm here having fun with her and him.
Hi everyone, I'm Elias. I'm from Cuba. So let's do this.
Yeah, okay.
We're ready.
So right now we're actually at the Beacon House in the University of Bristol, and I wanted to kind of like answer a lot of questions that I've been getting on my Instagram about Chevening and scholarships. But I didn't want to make it just like a normal Q&A video, so we have some British snacks down here. We have a bottle of elderflower presse, and yeah, let's just get started, I guess. Oh, a bit of a disclaimer also, we're just going to be sharing about our experiences here. So we are not at all like formally, answering on behalf of Chevening. Yes. So before we get on into the questions, I'll pour you guys some drinks.
Oh, cool.
This is completely non-alcoholic.
And
That would have been fun.
Yeah, definitely.
That's another video.
Cool.
Okay.
So, cheers everyone.
Cheers.
Yes.
How'd you like it?
Still not alcohol.
It's good actually. It's refreshing. I like
Okay,
it.
I'll keep it down here if we want to get some more.
Alright.
Alright, let's get into the questions. Okay. First question.
Okay.
How was your undergraduate experience? Did you do anything super special that made you stand out?
So my undergrad experience was a little confusing. So I did international relations in Brazil. I started in one state and then I had to move to another state because my wife got a job. I had to make a decision. Do I keep my wife or not? So I went to a state that is actually 900 kilometers away from where I was studying. So I had to do, in Brazil we call it equivalency, right? We have to kind of, get the same credits in a way, try to find the same credits that we had. And it took me an extra year to finish my undergrad course.
Would you say at all that you were like an overachiever?
Well, I was okay. I wasn't an overachiever. I think I was, at the time, because I started my undergrad and I was older than most people and I was working at the same time. So I just got, the grades that I needed to pass. I knew that I was doing the best I could do, considering that I had to work on the side, right? So, yeah.
Well, in my case, or in fact, that now that you say you were older, us guys, we are the older achievers, maybe.
I think so.
Are you? Wait.
Yeah.
I think we are.
Can I ask what age?
20, I mean. I'm 30.
You're 30?
I am 33.
I'm 26.
Yes.
So our undergrads were a bit far in the past, but
Yes.
in my
That's true.
case, I consider myself like a weird species. So I'm an engineer. It's not like common here. We are not the bigger amount of students. It's not like engineers. But in my case, my undergrad was an engineer, and I think that my experience was really good because I was the president of the school in some moments.
Overachiever.
So I was the president of the faculty.
Sure.
Since I was in second year, and in fourth year I was the president of the school. So the experience of the leadership. Of
Definitely.
The position, the place, to discuss things with really important people. I sat with the president for example. So it's not
great.
a thing that everyone can do. So I think that the experience was. That's it.
Also for me, I'm kind of like you. Well, actually, it makes of both of you because I kind of kept my grades. I maintained them to the point that I was like, okay, they're good. I wasn't the shiniest star in terms of my grades, but I was very active. I was like also a president of an event that was kind of like the largest international marketing event in Indonesia made by university students. And then I was also a tourism ambassador for the Department of Culture in Jakarta. I was kind of like well-rounded, let's say. My GPA, if I'm being very honest, out of 4, it was 3.2, which is not bad. I know
It's actually good.
Yeah, I have friends that were like 3.8 or something, but I just prefer to keep myself well-rounded rather than have a 4 GPA, but not be active in anything else.
Sure.
Also, I used my undergraduate experience to kind of break out of my shell because I was a very shy kid up until high school.
Really?
Super shy. You're like, oh.
Well, that's a surprise, Okay. All right.
Like,
if you say so, I will do it.
Yeah. And now she's recording videos,
That's
Okay.
because I have no friends.
That's not true.
No, it would be like to a point where I would get sick if I had to make a presentation in front of class.
Okay.
I would try to avoid that at all costs.
Okay.
Not come to school for a week.
Yeah.
Socially awkward.
12.
Yeah.
Then
Oh, that's great.
I was shy till I was 16, Yeah. And then something happened. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. So university was kind of me trying to be a yes woman.
So, to kind of complement what I said, I think I was trying to focus a lot on my work at the time, and that's where I got, most of my achievements, I think, because I started working for an NGO, and that I'm the president now of this NGO back in Brazil. And I also got involved with National Geographic Learning as a pedagogical consultant, and so it was always this dilemma for me, should I try to focus and get the best grades and kind of pass on the opportunities that I have for work. And I said no, I have to try to do those things because I think in the future they're going to pay off more than if I get the best grade I can possibly get. And I think I was right, because we're here.
I mean, friends and even family.
Yeah.
They told me like, you're spending time on this.
Yeah.
Maybe your grades could be better. Could be amazing. And I was like, yeah, but I couldn't have the opportunity to do this.
Exactly.
I remember when we graduated, I had the opportunity, to give a speech.
Yeah.
To all the graduates.
Oh.
And I was like, no. And I was like, no, because they took into account
Your other.
Sure. So I was like, the marks, the units, we learned a lot.
Yeah.
But I never changed it for all this experience that I had.
Of course.
Exactly.
These other kind of things,
Yeah.
That's more
Definitely,
definitely.
Let's try Jacob's mini cheddars.
Okay. And cheddar is a very British cheese, right?
Yeah, there's a town called Cheddar. Have you been?
Yeah, I haven't, but I think they have this very cool event that they actually roll the cheese. Is it the same place? There's a cheese race or something that people have to run after the cheese,
Oh,
the
yeah.
rolling cheese.
The cheese
Is that
wheel.
the cheddar
Is that
wheel or
cheddar?
something?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's
So
good.
these taste like Cheez-Its. Have you had Cheez-Its?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
I'll leave them here for you to keep munching if you want.
Yeah,
Keep in mind we have like
yeah, we have
a
to
lot.
go around.
I
Yeah.
don't want to get hypertension or anything today.
Yes.
Not on my watch. Did you apply for Chevening straight after your undergraduate degree? We all know that's a no. Or did you wait? How long did you wait and why? And is it true that the longer you wait, the greater your chances of being accepted?
Wow.
Do you want to start?
I wouldn't say that I wait a lot because I didn't know.
Yes.
So
Okay.
as soon as I knew, I applied. But it was like 6 years after I graduated.
Yeah.
Right.
So I didn't have time to work in the uni. I was a professor back in my country like for 6 years when I applied.
Oh, okay.
I was finishing my first master. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
it was a,
Oh, you already have a master's, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It happened the same, to me. I mean, I had been lecturing all over the country. I actually went to some conferences as a speaker at the time. And there was this one conference that I sent a proposal, but they didn't accept my proposal. But it was in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah.
It's a very nice city in Brazil. Even though I wasn't going to present anything, I felt like, well, I should just go and watch. And it was really funny because I saw there were two presenters. They were actually sharing, they were going to present together about opportunities abroad. And one of them was talking about the Chevening Scholarship. So that was the very first time I heard about the Chevening Scholarship. So Priscila Bordon, if you ever watch this, Brazilian, I'm here because of you. So I saw her and I said, wow, I had no idea. So I applied and I got it.
Was she a scholar?
She was a scholar. I mean, she was actually about to leave.
Oh.
It was
something like it.
it was 2 years ago. Probably August, because she was about to leave,
Yeah.
She was actually the cohort that came before us. And then I said, wow, I have to apply. And then I started the whole application process because of her. And I got lucky, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
But it was because I decided to go to this conference. I had never heard of Chevening before.
But I won't say that the amount of years you apply after is like would give you like better chance.
Yes.
Yeah. What you do with those years is important,
Yes.
but not the amount of years. Because for example, I have friends who apply like with my 7 years after graduating,
And
they didn't get it, and I have friends who are like 1-2 years. After graduation. So
I liked what you said. I think it really matters what you do.
with what you do.
So if you're, doing some volunteer work or you're trying to put yourself in a leadership position, and like me, I was going to conferences, lectures. I was, connecting with people, getting involved in different projects. All those years, right?
Yeah.
And I had graduated a couple of years, like 2 years, because it took me a while to graduate. And then, but still, I had so much work experience at the time, and especially with NGOs and private companies and the government. So that was really important. It was not as important as when I graduated, what I did, but everything was important.
But I knew that Chevening required, I don't know if it's the same in your countries, but required us to have 3 years of work experience.
2 years.
Oh yeah, too, because it took like almost a year to.
Yeah.
In fact, they have this calculator online, and it's not the amount of years; it's the amount of hours. But it's around 2 years. They say around 2 years.
You're working full time. Yeah. So I waited like those 2 years, and then right on the dot, I was like. I agree. I don't think it's about the amount of years, but it's more of like how have you evolved as a human being? Obviously, I'm still young. I still don't. Even in my interview, I still didn't. I let them know that I was still evolving and what my plans could change. Obviously.
Yeah.
It's basically, I think that like Chevening wants every one of their scholars to be a unique and positive contribution to their network.
Definitely.
So whatever that is in your capacity of like leadership or networking or whatever, be the best of what you are in your capacity.
Yes.
And that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Great answers, guys.
I like that. Yeah.
All right, so the next question is very quick. So
All right.
we're gonna open 2 and then answer 2 also.
So
these are called randoms.
randoms, okay.
They're like little jellies. And then this is Walker's is a pretty popular brand.
I hope it's not like the scene on Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, yeah. Yeah. Have you tried Harry Potter?
The one like the last sentence.
No.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are Quavers, like
Quavers.
cheese flavored little chips.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, they're kind of sticky.
All right. Flavors. Good. This is actually good.
Yeah, this is good.
There's like jam in this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in the red ones that are shaped like flowers.
They smell super cheesy. That's good.
Artificial.
No. Kind of like, nachos, Doritos, right? Yeah,
Kind
it's
of
good.
Pringle flavor.
But
also.
lighter.
Lighter, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
is the stipend enough?
Oh.
Oh.
Well, okay, may I?
Yeah.
I think it's enough. I mean, you have a lot of accommodation options in the city, and it depends on your objectives, I guess. For example, I had to save some to travel around and do things that I wanted to do, go to exhibitions and things like that.
Yeah.
So I decided that for the very first half of the whole year, I was going to stay at a private accommodation, which is farther from the campus. So I chose a place that I could walk every day, like a half an hour or something like that. And but I ended up paying at least £100 less than I would if I were here in the city center or near the campus, right? So yeah, I mean, there are some moments that you feel like it's not enough. Because we go out, we have happy hours, but it is enough. It's tight. It's always tight,
By
But
the
it's
end of the
enough.
month, they're like, what's Lucas gonna email?
Yes, we love Lucas, but oh, Lucas. Every time we get Lucas's email, yes, the money is actually coming. Yes.
21st is the best day in the month.
It happened a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah, but that wasn't the best day. That was one of the final ones.
This is the last one. Yes, I know.
That's so sad.
It is sad.
Yeah. I also agree. I chose private accommodation over university because the university ones, the ones I've seen, the beds are single, the rooms are smaller, and they're more expensive, so it just didn't make sense to me at all. So I chose to live also somewhere off campus, but I don't think I could have walked.
Yeah.
So, but a
So you have to take
monthly
the bus,
bus pass is like 47 pounds here as of now. So even with that, it would still be cheaper than uni accommodation. So there would be extra cash at the end of the month, I think, which I could either use for like shopping or travel.
Yeah.
It just like lowers my priority that month.
Exactly.
But definitely for rent, for food, for transport.
Yeah. It's
and
enough.
Yeah. It's just like, what do you want to do with that extra money?
Yeah.
I would also say that it depends on where you are. You know, it's not the same London,
Right,
Bristol, Brighton, Nottingham. It's not the same.
It's not. Yeah, that's also another thing is the stipend is London and then outside of London.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they categorize it.
That's not
it's not really,
fair, you know?
It's like I'll say how much my rent is off campus, and I would have to take the bus every month. It was $5.50. Plus like the £50 bus, and then I have friends in like Coventry, Nottingham. They only pay 300 something, like less than 400 for rent. So they have way more room to travel and to save money.
It's for £200. That's not.
That's a lot.
That's another thing. The money is not. You also have to know how to manage it.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
I think that could be a different video. How to manage your
It wasn't the shortest
financial advice.
So I'm just my camera cut out for a bit, so we're gonna kind of redo two questions. Is the UK LGBTQ plus friendly?
Yes, especially compared to, we were talking about this, our countries, I think. And I think the first time, I had the random, so the first time I realized that was actually when I landed, in London, Heathrow. You have posters of the tube, and then I came to Bristol in the first week of class. You had the society, you had people promoting events and actually trying to, welcome students and say, listen, if you are part of the LGBTQ plus community, you can join us, or if you support it, you can also join us, right? Yeah. And I feel like it was really evident, which is something that I never really saw in my country. Yeah. But, and also, the pride, the celebration they had here, which was great, and the conference that I went to, and then teachers were talking about how can we make students adapt to this new reality? Students who come from countries where maybe homosexuality is a crime, for example. So it's much more open here, much more tolerant than my reality. Yeah. And I feel like this is very important. This is something that we don't mention enough, but you have an institution promoting, backing, giving support to the cause, which is something that doesn't really happen so much in Brazil.
Here it's like celebrated, I would say, at least I'm not gonna say at least, in all of UK, especially in the major cities, it's people can go out openly and, show their affection towards the same sex. Also, like, during Freshers Week, which is the first week of school here, they kind of like show off all the societies that they have at the university, and we have a society for LGBTQ+. They don't only take in if you are an actual like LGBTQ, but they also will like open their their society to people who just support it, or even to those who don't support it. They are willing to like educate, kind of just to create warmth around it, I guess, and like encouragement around it, and celebration. And it was quite interesting to see that also. Not only do they have social media, which you could follow, like Instagram, Twitter, or whatever, but also they had like a private newsletter for those who maybe come from countries that aren't very accepting of this, and they would still want to get news updates and things that are being updated on their social media, but they don't want to publicly follow any accounts just because it may not be safe for whatever situation that you have back at home. So they do facilitate a lot of different situations, and I think like, it's great. Yeah.
The way society sees them is not the same. Here is much more open. It's like I've never seen more, LGBT couples holding hands.
Yeah.
In my country, like I saw here in the first week, for example.
Yeah.
And no one sees them. No one stares at them.
No funny looks.
No. It's a normal thing. And the pride in every city is like a social phenomenon, because it's the whole city involved in the thing, the whole community showing support. And the biggest celebration here, I think, that is in Brighton. Brighton is a city that is really supportive with this thing. And they have like these huge brands in the pride. Like Salisbury. They went with a big, banner, Salisbury support, but Ford, for example, did the same.
Yeah.
So they're really friendly here with the community.
Yeah.
This is Sensations Papadoms in lime and coriander chutney flavor. It's very popular here.
Already approved.
Already approved. Everyone likes
Very
it.
good.
But I'll leave it here if you guys want much. So the next question is, how did you choose your choices of universities? And during the interview, did you speak about each university specifically? And how would you allocate time for each university during the interview?
In my case, what I did was I looked for which program could help me in which was my goal in the strategy I planned to help. The plan I had, I want to do something with I go back to my country, and everyone has its own recipe, so this is mine.
That's true.
So what I did was like a list, and the best one who offer a program that can help me is this one. I tried to pick one, the best one in the middle, and one in the top, because you want to have a safe net. You don't want to apply to the first one, the second one, and the third one, and to be rejected by all of them, because you have to assure to at least have one that give you what's the name,
Acceptance?
Acceptance.
Yeah. So I will say that after doing that in the interview, I spoke only about my first option, the one that I really wanted to go.
Yeah. At that time, did you already have an unconditional letter during your interview?
I wouldn't advise this to anyone, so I really don't advise it. But at that time, I haven't applied to the US, so
Don't do it.
No, don't
follow
it.
My method of it was I need warmth. In order to be happy, I need the sun. So I know that the UK is quite gloomy most of the year. So I at least wanted to find a city that was livable. I think mental wellness and everything is very important to me. So I looked up cities in the UK that were the most livable, and Bristol came up a few times, Edinburgh came up. So I applied for those two, and then I also looked at their rankings, both of which are really nicely ranked here. From there, I also looked at easy access to airports. So both cities do have their own airports, but Bristol is much closer to London. In case there were any flights that weren't available in Bristol and I did want to go through London, that would have just been easier. Also, the weather down here is better than it is up there in Edinburgh. So those were my considerations. During the interview, I only spoke about Bristol and Edinburgh, and again, I mentioned all of these things like mental health. My overall happiness would probably be better here. The city looked nice. What the city has to offer was nice. Different societies, all these things. So it wasn't just focused on the modules for me.
Well, for me, it was pretty much about the modules and the program, because I was looking for a university that had a specific course that is pretty new. That I think the first one probably started in the United States less than maybe 10 years ago, I'd say, which is the Mind, Brain, and Education course, and it's normally related to neuroeducation or education neuroscience. So here in the UK, I found out that it's called BME. It's Brain, Mind, and Education. I think brain is more important for the British people than the mind. I don't know.
Oh.
So they just inverted the letters in the acronym.
Okay.
And the only course that I found that actually offered this unit was here with an author that I had been reading for a while, Paul Howard-Jones. And then I said, this is the place, you know? So I mentioned it, and when I mentioned it, so I think we did spend a little time talking about Bristol, and I said that, you know, the main reason was because I found this course, and I've been studying that for a while on my own. I also said that Bristol is a great city, I love the art, and I did some research. And I did mention that Winston Churchill, so I forgot to mention that before.
Yeah,
Winston Churchill was the Chancellor of the University of Bristol. I felt like it was such an honor to become, you know, an alumni of this university, because wow, take a look at that, right? Yeah. So, you know, all those elements got together in a way, and it helped me make my choice. Yep.
And I don't think any of us here regret going to Bristol.
Oh no,
I would do it all over again.
Stay a bit longer. It's such a beautiful city.
It is a great city. You should come and visit, you know?
Yeah, we have a bit of everything. Like we have Clifton, which kind of looks like Bath, or like kind of an old town.
Yes.
Then we have the Harbour Side, which is my personal favorite.
I love it.
I love just hanging out in the Harbour Side.
Yeah.
And then we have like Gloucester Road, which is very
hipster
kind of like
yeah.
vintage and all these
It's
things.
awesome, yeah.
So different parts of the city would have different vibes, so you don't really ever get bored.
Yeah, like we were saying, like here in Bristol, you will have like the advantages of a big city and also the advantages of a countryside city. You know,
true.
You wouldn't feel like you are in the middle of London, overwhelmed with all the tools and the things.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't feel like you are in the middle of the field with all the cows and things. So I think it has the proper balance. You know,
I agree.
if I have to do it all over again, I will choose Bristol.
Yes. Me too, definitely. It's a very productive city. We have hubs from some of the major brands like Boeing and Rolls-Royce, so it's not just a student city.
No.
For example, in my case, I study microelectronics, and Bristol is called the Silicon City here in the UK, so it's a pretty productive city.
Oh, definitely,
But it's the best city, was the best city in the UK.
Sunday times.
Going to the Sunday
Selling Bristol.
I live in 2007.
Yes. It was 2017, right?
Yeah, 2017.
And I think we all mentioned that during the interview
I
somehow.
definitely
I mentioned that, yes.
Definitely. Jaffa cakes. I've never tried these. Have you?
No, I haven't.
Have you?
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
I don't know how I feel about this because it's like orange center.
Okay. Chocolate, orange, and biscuit or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like the orange and chocolate combo?
I do, yeah. I mean, no,
Not bad.
It's good. Yeah.
I'm gonna move this a tiny
Good.
bit. Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Anything with chocolate.
It's not bad. The scholarship intimidates me as I don't consider myself a leader yet. However, I am striving and I'm wanting to become one. Would you please give me some suggestions and advice to get this prestigious scholarship in regards to the leadership requirements?
That's a deep question.
That's a big one.
I think they clearly state that they don't want the president of the world.
No.
You can just be a leader in your group, you know, in what you do. You don't have to be like, you know, the president of the world. You can be just really good leading an NGO, leading a research group.
Yeah.
You have this thing that you do with kids to help them. You know, it's not like the big thing.
It's more like, do you have leadership qualities? Can you like demonstrate some of your leadership qualities? Can you give examples during your interview and during your essay? And also, it's in your capacity. Like, where even between us, I've only worked for 3 years. Obviously, I'm not going to be like the VP of, you know, some company. It's just not in my capacity yet.
CEO someday.
Watch out for that. But it's like whatever's in your capacity and how you can demonstrate that. And how would that positively benefit Chevening as a program?
Definitely. Leadership is something that you earn and you learn, because if you get involved with projects and a committee, a local NGO like I did, I never thought of myself as a leader, but because I have a vision of the things that I want to do, the things that I want to transform in my country, and people share this vision with me, they saw a leader in me, and then I became the leader. And I feel like, it was a process. You don't have to be a leader now, but you will eventually become a leader if you take the right steps and if you're there involved with things that you want to do that make sense to you, and then that will make a contribution to your own community. And I feel like you shouldn't worry so much about becoming a leader, but you should be worried about doing things that will transform your surroundings,
Eat, talk. Ooh, how do you find time as a scholar to travel? Or basically time for whatever you enjoy?
Ooh, that's a good one. I've been traveling a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been talking to different people from different courses. We have something new.
We have Maltesers.
Yeah, those one.
Very good.
Those are one of my favorites.
Yes, they're really
Very
good. Yeah. So I feel like my course in particular, we don't really have a lot of classes as you would imagine. And you have to realize it's, a master's degree that we're going after. It's not like the undergrad that, at least in my country, you have lessons almost every day, probably every day for a couple of hours. So here we have like 2-3 hours, a day, and then maybe 2 days after we have another 2 hours or something like that. So you do have time, but what really consumes our time is writing the essays, doing the readings, and you have to organize your time around that. And to be honest, we don't always finish all the readings. I'm gonna confess, okay? We just do the best we can.
I won't deny.
Yeah. So, but we try our best, right? And then if you do that, if you feel like you have done what you had to do, and you were able to finish your essay, then you can organize, and then you will see that you actually have a lot of free time before you start writing your dissertation anyway. So then you can travel, you can bring your computer, your Kindle, your books, whatever, and you can do that as you are traveling. So you just have to kind of balance things, and then it will work out. Yes.
In my case, I have.
It's a different course.
I have points in common and points that are not in common. In my case, for example, it's not. Yeah. No. I had lots of units, so in my case, I didn't travel a lot during the master, but they do give you like these weeks, like
Easter,
Christmas, reading week.
Reading week. I didn't have a reading week in my course.
We had two. Yeah, we had two.
Yeah, they do give you time, but in my case, I did have classes from 8 in the morning till 6 in the afternoon every day, for example. Yeah. If you manage your time, if you organize yourself, you can travel. You really have to do. It's part of the experience, I think.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, you can't just come all the way here and not travel. No. Same with you. I did a combination. Sometimes I would study super hard, write super hard during the weekdays, and then during the weekends I could take like short trips to Brighton or London. But then when I wanted to take bigger trips like to Europe or anything, then I would bring my laptop with me, unfortunately.
Yes,
but like sometimes you just during the day go to a cafe, read a bit, or like during the night. It's just basically how you manage your time.
Yeah.
It's very doable, I think.
It is. We're still alive, right?
We're still passing.
Barely, but yeah.
Most of us are getting some sleep.
Yeah. Not everybody's sleeping very well.
Okay, next question. Oh, you snack?
Okay. She's feeding us, huh?
Yeah.
I know, I'm trying to get you a little bit chunky.
Right.
I'm sure you've all tried shortbread.
Yes, I have.
I do like.
It's very good.
This is just like generic co-op brand.
Have you ever tried the millionaire shortbread?
Yeah.
With chocolate?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That's nice too.
That's something I never heard of. So.
No. This reminds me of the one in my country that we call tortica.
Yes.
So it reminds me of one that I really grew up with.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. This is us going to Nero and Costa and like to study, right? So, okay. Thanks.
Do I stand a chance if I choose my major, which is irrelevant to my past work experience and undergraduate degree? I think that as long as you have a direction that you're going with the masters that you want to take, you have your reasons and your backings and everything, then there's no reason not to.
To be fair, my experience has a lot to do with that actually, because I've always studied international relations, I always wanted to do that. And I started a master's course in Brazil in political science, which is pretty closely related with international politics and stuff like that. But I'm studying psychology of education. So there was a huge,
It's a real example here.
It's a real example, actually. I realized that I wanted to be more involved with education, and my work has always been in education. I've been a teacher for a while. And when I realized that, something clicked, I said, I don't really want to just become a diplomat or do anything, I want to apply the knowledge that I have been acquiring throughout, my whole academic life in education. I want to make a change in education. And I felt like I got involved with psychology of education because it was something that I liked, but I was doing my own research, I was going to conferences, I was learning, I was taking online courses, and then I found a way to connect those things, those two different realms, because, everything I learned when I was studying international relations, I think can be transferred or applied in psychology of education, because I want to create a global program of education. I want, so I need to know a little bit about international law, I need to know a little bit about politics, a little bit about economics, So I feel like if you can explain how those things connect, and like you said, if you have a direction, then it works out,
Yeah, you just have to show that you have a plan, that you have a strategy, that you want to get somewhere.
That's true,
And well, that somewhere is important.
Exactly,
Yeah, you just have to know your direction, and then you have to convince them that like Chevening would be the perfect way for you to catapult into that direction.
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, last question, wrapping up.
Yeah.
It's like 2 questions in one. So general tips on how to get the scholarship, and then what is your favorite part of being a Chevener? And we will pair this question with Monster Munch. Again by Walkers. I just realized that.
Okay.
I think they have like 60% of the chip market share or something.
Oh, they do?
Oh, they're weird looking.
Well, she should know. She studies, the brands and everything, right? Yeah, they look...
Well, they're pickled onion flavor, so that kind of is questionable to me.
Near face.
Oh, wow. They're very... It tastes like vinegar.
Yeah.
Vinegar.
Oh, it's pickled. Alright.
Pickle, yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Okay. Just a second. The best thing about being a Chevener and how to get the scholarship, right? Well, in my case, I was always getting ready for something, and I feel like I mentioned this. So I have a blog post, by the way, that you can read. So, and I always got involved with different things because I had a vision. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to change something. I wanted to become an agent of change, and so when I went to the United States and I got back and I got involved with the NGO, and now I'm president of this NGO. We're having a conference in Brazil for the very first time with this NGO. I knew that I wanted to be involved. I wanted to be part of this transformation that we were going after. And I feel like this is what gave me a very small chance to even be considered by Chevening, because they saw in me something that I feel like everybody has to have. That we have a desire to do something, to change something in our communities or the world, even though we have very different objectives, but the main goal is to make transformation, to make change, right? And I feel like if you can demonstrate that you are walking towards that goal, that you're getting involved with the right people, that you're networking, that you're maybe creating avenues and projects and things to get there, then you have a very big chance of getting the Chevening scholarship, because that's what they're looking for. People who can become potential change makers,
Oh, perfectly said.
Yeah, change maker, right?
Yeah.
And and I feel extremely honored, to be honest, to be part of this huge network, because it's not just the people who came with us now. There are people who came years and years ago, and we are part of this huge alumni group that we can interact with, we can network with, and we can actually be engaged in projects with. And I feel very special because I know this is going to open a lot of doors, a lot of opportunities I will have because of this connection. And it's a tough process, if you think about how many people actually get the scholarship, very difficult. And, if you are just considered to, become a tutor, that's a great honor. And when you actually get the scholarship, I mean, wow, you feel like, it's like winning the lottery. It's really, it's a privilege to be here, to be involved with so many different people from different countries and backgrounds, people who are doing great things. And when they come back to their country, they're gonna make change. And that's the whole point of this thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think for me that the tips would be coming back to the whole network thing. They want a network of change makers. They want someone who is unique in whatever capacity that you are. And I don't know, someone just that could be part of this, that could enrich their alumni network basically. Because we are a huge, just even our cohort is 1,800, I think.
Yeah. Almost,
from however many?
150? No, it's more.
Really?
How many countries? I saw, it's almost
150 plus.
50, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
You can put it on the...
You
can Google that.
We'll correct it here.
Yeah.
So, during, especially our massive events, the welcoming and the farewell, it's such the adrenaline when you meet everyone. It's such a different feeling and such kind of I'm so proud to be part of this.
Yes.
I can speak about this on and on and on. I'll speak about this to my great grandchildren. This was probably one of the coolest, most biggest achievements I guess that I've had in my life so far.
Sure. Yeah.
And I don't take it for granted. Yeah.
It will be definitely top 3.
Yeah.
For the rest of our lives.
For sure.
Yeah.
Who else gets to say that they got free education, free live, even paid to live in the UK to study? That's you're special.
Yeah.
We are special.
Yeah. So about you.
Yeah.
So talking about tips, already established that the networking and the know where you want to go. Things it's you should demonstrate that to them because you can have a big plan, you can know what you want, you can know what you want to change, but you have to show them that. Yeah. And the way you have to is the essays, Those essays are really so important because you can have this big network, you can have the best plan in the world, but if you cannot present to them, they cannot know. So
but how would you package yourself in those 5 words?
For me, the top tip would be to spend time on the essay.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah. Once having the plan and the networking, you really show them that.
Yeah. You have to tell them which steps you're going to take. I was, I said I want to become a TED speaker because I have an idea that I'm developing here, and I feel like my idea should be copied by other countries in terms of how teachers can teach in the classroom using the science of learning. And for me to gain the platform, Chevening was one platform, right? But for me to spread the idea, a very good platform would be a TED speech, right? TED talk.
Yeah.
And then I said, so I was really specific about, so first I'm going to do this, I'm going to develop my research, I'm going to test back in my country, I'm going to collect data, I'm going to be a TED fellow, that's what I want to do, and talk about this and see if other countries can do the same. And that was my case. But if you tell them the step by step, it makes sense. It's something that is feasible. I may never be a TED speaker. May never get the chance. But that's what I want to do. Exactly.
You will. I can totally see you on the stage.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I can be there.
That's awesome.
And then talking about the Chevening privilege, so we said 1,200.
I think it was
1,800 actually.
1,800 out of 60,000 and some. So can you imagine how privileged we are?
Of course, it's a big privilege.
Yeah. There's a lot of hard work that goes behind it, but it's definitely something that if you think about the numbers, it's so surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to probably say that from at least my experience and what I've heard from other Cheveners, is that they're not looking for someone who is going to be like in their interview saying that, oh, I'll spend my 24/7 in the library. Like, no. They want to see what you can actually do within this year, not just through books. Because okay, great, distinction's awesome, but how do you like elevate your experience to kind of just like optimize everything here?
Exactly.
So, what can you take advantage of here that you don't have in your home country, whether that's in education or not, or whatever. So definitely, if you're just gonna plan to be a bookworm,
at least until.
Yes.
This is not an official Chevening opinion, but it's my opinion. So yeah, I guess that would be another tip.
Definitely, yeah.
As for my favorite part of being a Chevener, I would say is how I'm aware of other scholarships around, like from my country or from other countries. Yes, they support you financially, and that's awesome. That's incredible. But we have this thing where we have like at least 10 events going on during the month, which you can choose to participate in or not, and then you can connect with other Cheveners, or learn about something. Sometimes it's like a seminar about like the digital age, or sometimes it's just like volunteering, like farming with the elderly. Like it's very, very different what they offer, and it's a great way to connect. And so you don't ever feel like you're alone.
No.
Without a doubt, the best part of being a Cheveners is the Cheveners.
Yeah.
The community is like to spend time with other Cheveners, to share ideas, to get to know. Because you have your idea, and maybe you think your idea is you think your idea is great and you can do. But then this guy that wants to be a tech talker, and you say, wow, he wants to be a tech talker. But that's him, and that's now you're just seeing all of three. But when 1,800, it's like that's a group of amazing people.
Oh, yes.
So it's without any doubt, the best part of being a Chevener.
For me, it's the same. I realized back in Brazil when I met the Brazilian Cheveners, we were getting the papers sorted out, the documents, the visa, and everything. And I was in a room with two Cheveners. And then, so Lucas, who lived in Cardiff, he looked at me and said, "You're here for Chevening, right? For Chevening." I said, "Yeah, you too? Yeah." And then Amanda was next to me. And then I started talking to those two people. And I realized how incredibly, impressive their resume was. Like,
at that stage.
I was like, oh my God, this girl worked at UN in Kenya, like empowering women. I'm not gonna get this thing, Why did they get me? And then you start, and then when you come to the UK, you meet even more impressive people. But then it makes you realize that you have something too. No matter what you do, you are also as special as, because you can also make a contribution. So we are on par. We are sort of equal standing. Everybody has their own thing. But together we are stronger.
And you can be too part of us.
Yes.
Yeah, so even like between the three of us, I'm studying business, you're studying psychology education, you're studying engineering.
Microelectronics.
Yeah. Say that again?
Microelectronics.
So, like how else would we have been connected? If we just came on our own and everything, I probably wouldn't know you, I wouldn't know you. I would never talk to you. So it's great that just like a random Indonesia, Brazil, Cuba, in different majors, we can connect and like bond over something and spend time together. So it's much more than a scholarship, I think.
Much more.
Yeah, we don't want to come back. We could stay a little longer. It's almost over now. Yes.
So anyways, that wraps up all of the questions that I chose for today. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a long video, I think. Thank you again to my friends here that wanted to take time. He hasn't slept in like 3 days.
And he's going straight to the library now.
You're going to the lab, aren't you? So thank you so much for spending time with me. Watch out for my next videos. Bye.
Hey, keep me where the light is, keep me where